Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Nobody Asked Me Guy show. Melvin Lars. I know you guys are expecting to see Mr. Dwayne Bennett, who's coming on. And he's running a little late here, having some technical difficulties. He and I have just spoken, but he will be here. We'll be talking tonight. Our topic will be Become What You Believe. Now, obviously, we know we can take anything from that that we like because we all believe in things that we do. We hope. We certainly hope that hope. We certainly hope you know that hope in itself is not a strategy. Hope is just an idea. So we're going to be talking tonight about strategies and how to become what you believe, and talking about getting promotions in the professional realm, etc. So if you'll just sit back and relax and engage with us, we certainly appreciate it. But it's great seeing everybody here tonight. We know, and allow me to say to our new viewers, every week, man, we're getting new viewers, and I'm really happy about that. So welcome to our new viewers, and hopefully you will continue to spread the word so that we will continue to be on and bring you some interesting topics. We don't want to waste your time with cookie cutter information. We just want to bring you some good, strong, positive topics to share and to talk about. So tonight with Mr. Bennett, as I said, having a few technical difficulties, but he will be on. Just to give you a short intro, he's been called exciting, he's been called engaging, he's been called energetic, and he's been called entertaining. Now, his educationally, these educational terms that come out of the mouths of some of the most audience members that have heard Dwayne's seminars. Now, Dwayne do many seminars, and that's what we'll talk about tonight. Now, Dwayne Bennett is a frequently requested speaker, as well as author and president of Yes to Success, LLC, a corporate training and leadership development company. As a founding member of the John Maxwell team, Dwayne has been trained personally by John Maxwell and is a certified licensed motivational speaker, engaging trainer, and informational coach. And just to give you a little bit more about Brother Dwayne, Dwayne uses the latest cutting edge communication and leadership principles, along with the concepts from his two books entitled From Word to Winning, The 7 Winning Ways to Your Personal Success, and the 7 Winning Ways to College Success, from high school to college graduates, to help organizations develop its leaders and leadership to develop themselves. Dwayne has traveled throughout the United States and abroad to places such as Cuba, India, and others, delivering high energy, interactive, inspirational messaging and training. I see Dwayne is joining us. Brother Dwayne, good evening, and we're happy that you're here with our audience. We do have some new people here. We're happy about that, but I'm going to finish, since they're already engaged, just kind of introducing you, and then you share some more with them if you don't mind. And where we left off, we were just sharing with them that you are interactive, inspirational messages and training to audiences to help them elevate from where they are to where they know they should be.
Right.
Now, Dwayne received his foundational educational training by graduating from Virginia Tech with the BS, North Carolina Central University School of Law with a JD and other certifications and achievements from various organizations. Dwayne has delivered leadership training for the Defense Logistic Agency, DOD, Department of, I'm guessing here, Dwayne, and but you can tell them a little bit more about which one of these DODs stand for. Starbucks, Bank of America, the Federal Reserve Bank, City of Richmond, Georgetown University, and others. So, guys, those of you that are already here, we bring to you very interesting guests that are definitely multi-dimensional, and Mr. Dwayne Bennett is definitely multi-dimensional in his approach. He's multi-dimensional in his delivery. He's multi-dimensional in all of the things that he's involved in. So listen, it is a great pleasure for us to have with us Mr. Dwayne Bennett. Brother Bennett, how are you this evening, sir?
I am fantastic. I'm excited about being here tonight. I've been waiting all day to get here to talk to you and the guests and the people around the world. So I remember when President Obama, when he was traveling around, he went to one spot, and it took him about 10 or 10:30 at night to get there, and he was supposed to be there at 7 o'clock. And when he got there and he was doing the speech and everything, and when he was finished about 11:30, he looked, and it was like an 87-year-old lady there. And then after he finished up, he said, "You got any questions for me?" She said, "No, I'm fired up and ready to go." So I'm fired up and ready to go tonight Just like the 87-year-old lady was on President Obama campaign.
In fact, you know, Brother Bennett, it's great to be fired up and ready to go because we are so happy that you're here and that you're fired up and ready to go. So let's just jump right in. Now, our topic, obviously, and our topic is become what you believe. And we know that's a broad topic, but we know we're going to break things down for them tonight. But I also need to share with you, Brother Dwayne, as well. Our guests can actually FaceTime you live. And yes, sir, those two cameras at the bottom are always open, and we always invite our guests if they're not camera shy. Many of them are. If they're not camera shy, they'll grab one of those spots and ask you personally. Sometimes they will put questions in the message box, and sometimes they just listen.
Okay, good. I'm ready.
Yeah. So without further ado, now obviously, not only do you and I and our members that are watching and our guests that are with us understand the topic, become what you believe.
Right.
If you had, and I mean this non-sarcastically, if you had someone pondering, let's say they were still relatively young and immature and trying to figure out what they wanted to do, and they say, well, what exactly do you mean by that statement, become what you believe? How might you explain that to them?
Well, I explain it to them first of all in terms of defining who they are. Look inside to your strengths, the things you like, your proclivities, the thing that you're pulled towards, and then determine who you're going to be on the outside from after you evaluated some things from the inside. So when I say become, and if you notice, the YOU is capitalized. And the reason I capitalize that is because the emphasis is on you. Who do you think you should be? Who do you think, how do you think you should define yourself? What is your own identity from, not from outside, not from who your mother said you should be, who your daddy said you should be. If you're in America, the American dream, if you will, become who you believe, which starts from the inside, and then presenting those things, those gifts, those talents, those things that separate you from these other yous in the world, become who you believe. And I would emphasize that to the young person and let them play with their life, let them play with things around them at this particular point, let them play with their thoughts, let them play with their dreams and their goals, aspirations, and then hash it out. And then when they get back to me, I say, hey, what did you come up with? Okay.
Wow, that's a great explanation. Listen, as an old educator myself, I've often have students say to me, and I'll be very honest with you, it's a legitimate question. They'll say, well, you know, Mr. Lars, everybody always telling us to be ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then when we try to be ourselves, then it's a problem. So how do we work around that? Can you address that?
Yeah, this is the deal. People see things through their own eyes, through their own perspective. So when you're trying to be who you were purposed to be, when you're trying to be who you know where your gifts lie, then that person that's looking at you, they're looking at things from their perspective and they're projecting on you as who they think you should be. But Les Brown said this, I think he sounded the best is, a lot of times people don't understand your dream. They don't understand your vision because your dream, your vision was given to you. It wasn't given to them. It was given to you. So they don't understand it. So you got to push back in terms of how people see you through their eyes, as opposed to how you see yourself from the inside out. So I'll say, stay where you are, stay in your lane, continue to pursue your purpose, continue to believe that you can be whatever your goals and your aspirations say you can be, and keep moving it towards that direction. I think it was what Henry David Thoreau said, go confidently in the directions of your dream and you'll meet with uncommon success, different than what the common man would be. So I would encourage you to go confidently direction in your dream, young man, since you said it was a young person I'm talking to.
Yeah, it is, man. And actually, I have several monitors, man, and you're getting thumbs up and you're getting hearts. Okay. Well, that's always a positive, man. Listen, when you get reactions, I know you do a lot of public speaking. I know you do motivational speaking, that kind of thing. When you receive reactions, from individuals. That many times I know as a speaker myself, they're not verbal, but when you notice that body language or those face inflections, when they are not exactly buying into what you're sharing about that in a person, how do you react to that as a professional?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. First of all, let me answer from a professional perspective. When I'm hired by an event planner, by the time I get to the event, we've talked about what's the objectives of the event, what should be the key points you should present on, what does the audience need that you're talking to, how long it's going to be, are you going to use older information or new information? So we've crafted this presentation, here we go, not based on one individual, but based on the collective consciousness and of the events planner imagination for what's to be presented at that time. So what I have to do, and I'm just being transparent, is I have to push back on the individual and think about the group. And what really used to hurt me a lot when I first started, I hated getting bad testimonials. At the end, a survey form, what you call it, feedback form, I might get 25. One or two is bad, and it'll mess my whole night up. I'd be jacked up, my head be out, I couldn't believe it. But I had a mentor at church, and when I was over this particular ministry, we had a big presentation. I thought it was a big presentation. About 9 or 10 people came there, and I was bent out of shape again. And what she told me, she said, Dwayne, it's never about the people that's not there. It's always about the people that's there. So to extrapolate that further, it's never about the people that's looking at me funny, the people that's frowned up, the people that has their arm crossed, the people that's looking at me from the side. It's never about them. It's about the people that sit up in their chair straight. It's about the people that's leaning in to what I'm talking about. It's the people that's clapping. It's about the people that's enthusiastic, about the people that you can tell that you're reaching. That's what it's all about. And I have to push back on the other people that are just there just to be spectators. Here we go, as opposed to be participators in this monumental event, which in essence, if you're all the way in, if you're leaning in, if you're believing that you can receive some things, your life can be changed, not because I'm giving the information, but here we go, because you're receiving the information and you're changing on the inside. So I push back on those people that really, it doesn't matter, but focus on the people that's really there to be into it.
That's heavy. Listen, and as you share that, we know that there will be those that are there, obviously, because they were forced to come,
right?
Or because they thought, okay, this would be a great day from work,
right?
However,
that is true. That is true. I can get on my desk for 45 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours.
Absolutely. So, in encountering those individuals, and I want to talk about them a little bit, just as I did in the other question, in encountering those individuals, and you so eloquently shared with us that it's about the delivery and what you're receiving, right, and not about the people that's not there, etc. But when we have those individuals that show up for, might I use the word, disingenuous reasons.
Exactly.
And they just ask questions to be asking questions. Now, I know you've never encountered that. I know I'm the only one that's encountered that. Okay.
All the time.
But they're just asking questions to be asking questions.
Right.
Is there a strategy or maneuverability that you might suggest to our listeners that may be best used to continue with the stream that you're on and the path that you're on without being overly disrupted?
Yeah, and this is the thing. To be real authentic, and this is the thing. I'm looking through the conversation. I'm looking through the answer. I'm looking through what they're talking about to find the jewel, to find the nugget that's in the question here we go, here we go behind the question, or it may be what they didn't ask. And then that's where I come in terms of, okay, let me pivot, let me maneuver. Here we go. I can't get away from the information because it's about the whole. Let me shift a little bit the information or repurpose it in a way that they can receive it themselves, but it also can uplift the other person. And I talk about my wife about this often, and I learned it from my pastor, my co-pastor, but also a gentleman when I was in a business institute by the name of Dale and Robin. She's passed, and Twan. And when we were doing our masterminds, right, it's always somebody that is not paying attention, like you said. They're contrary to the situation. But Dale and Robin and Twan and Bishop Robinson, they will stay with the person, work through it, and find the jewel in what they think they were trying to do, but find something good that brings it back to them to try to get to their heart. And then if you stay there, be genuine, be open and honest, a lot of times you can break through. Does it work every time? No, it doesn't. But if you try to find the good in a person, if you try to find a jewel in a person, if you let them know, I understand, you may be hurting. You may be going through some things. This may not be your day. This may not be your time. You may have just gotten an argument before you got there. You may, your boss may have hollered at you because you didn't do the thing right, but now you got to go through this training. If you understand there's an ulterior motive behind the person that's working to sabotage things, and it don't allow that to let you see the person in a negative light. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can get by that if you stay with it and stay with your authenticity, stay within your heart, stay within your message, and see them as a genuine, responsible, positive, intelligent human being that can add something. But this is the key. They just didn't know they could.
Very well put, because I'm going to ask one more negative. I promise you, I'm going to ask one more negative.
Another
negative. It's a perfect segue into this question. That's what I had listed here. It's a perfect segue to this question, because you've just laid it all on the line. Actually, you actually have answered it, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Okay, we'll work it through.
Yeah, when you're working with a group and you have, again, I know it's just me, but you have that person. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily negative. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily being obstinate, but they know more about the topic or the message than you know. Have you encountered that situation before?
Yes, I. and I'm wondering why they weren't here giving the presentation. And I was. I'm thinking you probably should have been up here, right? You should have been talking this thing through, and I should have been sitting down in terms of giving the presentation. But again, it's just about, it's me. It took me a while to learn, and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still evolving. That and again is people, and I find this a lot of times, even with young people, they're trying to pull your card, they're trying to pull you off, they're trying to try you, they're trying to stump you, they're trying to get you off the game. But this is the key. People, and this is a secret. I'm hoping people listening to public speaking, to presentation, is this: the key to my confidence, the key to me being able to stay on point is I'm prepared. I'm prepared. This is not the first time I'm giving this speech. This is not the first time I'm doing this presentation. This is not the first time this subject matter is coming up. So I'm prepared in order. Here we go. I can get outside some things, and then I can get back in. So there are questions sometimes, and quite frankly, there are questions sometimes, even though it may have been presented in order to turn things, but a lot of times I'm able to use it to spin it back. Because if I have depth on the subject matter, and that's why, a lot of times, if you listen to a speaker and he has no depth, and the reason he's nervous and he's not confident is because, you're getting out there, you're trying to wing it, and you have no depth. Meaning, even though my presentation maybe we'll use a number. It's this particular subject has 10 pillars. We'll say it's 10 pillars to this particular subject. But anytime I'm presenting, the event planner or the audience, they only need 3 or 4. But I know all 10. You see what I'm saying? So I have depth. So I'm presenting on the 3 pillars in this subject matter, which can go deeper. I can go 7 other layers deeper. So that person that, here you go, they've gone 4 or 5, I still got them because I got 4 or 5 more I can go. So the key is be prepared, go deeper than you're supposed to be at the time, so you can have a well-rounded feeling and concept on the subject matter. Then the other piece, this is a new piece I'm incorporating based on one of my coaches told me, is you have a particular position, you have a particular way you're going. Well, read the critiques that's on the other side. You see, don't always go along with the people that you know, the people that's aligned with you, the people that's talking the things that you say that make sense to you. Read about the things that don't make sense. Read about the things that's on the edge. Read about the things that's on the fringes. So again, I'm ready for the person that comes from the fringe. They're going to come from way out there, right? We're right here. They're way out there. I've already been there. What do you say? It's not my first rodeo. so I just try to have some depth in what I'm doing, so that when that person comes, that situation comes, I can address it and I'm not thrown off as much as I used to. I used to be thrown off a lot about that, and I really got off on sometimes. But I'm learned to really be focused in on it's a job. You know, it's a job I'm supposed to do when I'm doing a training, when I'm doing a presentation, even when I'm doing coaching. It's a job, and I have an objective, and I have a mission, and I have a goal. I got to stay focused on that because that person is relying on it. That audience is relying on it. That event planner is relying on it. That department head is relying on me moving their department, changing that culture. So I got to stay focused, but I also have to have depth so that the fringe people, the fringe questions, the fringe situations, I'll be ready for those and not get thrown off by surprise.
Excellent. Which and this is not a negative. You have alluded several. Well, not alluded, but you've added several times within our conversation about the church, without calling it the church. When you're doing the presentations, excuse me, as a speaker, if you and I'm sure that, again, I'm probably the only one, but when you are not ashamed to, as you're sharing whatever you're sharing, and as you talk about the depth of the conversation, and you might mention your bishop or whomever, and within that whole scope of, as you're talking about the 10, if you let me call them layers, and you're talking about the 10 layers, and someone is stuck on 3 or 4, and you're in a situation where they want to end on the 3 or 4 because they want to use these terms, and I quote, well, if it's meant for me, I'll get it, or I got the Lord on my side, etc. What's a plausible way to be engaging, however, still getting them, you think? I mean, I know you're not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm just saying for our speakers, we have a lot of younger people, they're mid-20s, millennials that do presentations and speak, and I'm asking these questions for them, basically. And what would you suggest to them as to how to get that? And that's why I said you've answered it already somewhat, but I want to ask specifically because Darren, where's Darren? I ask him. He's from Ithaca, New York. Okay, Darren. He's from Ithaca, New York. Okay. He wants to know, how do you get his question? Let me paraphrase it. His question basically is, how do you get past getting them away? Not that you're denying that you don't understand that, the good Lord has it in his hands and he'll make a way. If it's for you, it's for you. But his question primarily, as I understand it, and Darren, Darren, you really should come on and ask this question yourself. I'm trying to phrase it without stumbling here. I understand that as he's asking, how do you get them to move on down past 4 and get them on down to 10 without questioning their faith? I guess.
If we're talking about faith, the foundational concept behind faith is belief. Okay, I say become what you believe. So I have a belief, and I have a belief system, and it's not my job to put my belief system on someone, here we go, that doesn't want to receive it. I'm not there trying to convince you that you got to believe in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ like I do. I can present my testimony. I can present excerpts from the Bible. I can present scriptures to you. Then it's up to you whether or not you want to receive that belief. See, I'm not one that argues with people about my belief and what I believe in. I state my position. I let you know what God has done for me. I give you some backup, some facts as towards that, and you can receive that or you don't have to receive it. I'm not going to debate you on it. And there are some scholars out there what we call apologetics, and they'll be there and they'll debate you going back and forth, but that's not my lane. My lane, if you will, to take this in another pillar within my faith, then there's Ephesians that indicates there's some that are called to be apostles, some that are called to be pastors, some are called to be evangelists, some are called to be teachers, some are called to be, did I get them all in prophets? My gift is the teacher. So as the teacher, let me just give you this information in a way that you can receive it. Then it's up to you whether or not you want to adopt the belief or whether or not really do you want to be saved. So I'm not going to argue with you back and forth about an obscure scripture that you pulled out of Song of Solomon that nobody ever, that even has a great interpretation. That's how they try to get you. Everybody obscure scripture that nobody's been reading. They just flip the Bible over and pull it out and then want to get you caught up on a debate. I'm not getting caught up on that. I'm going to give you my assignment for this situation or for that person. A lot of time my assignment is to tell you about my faith, to tell you about my Christ in a way that I have experienced it in a real authentic manner. Once I do that, then it's up to you to receive that or you reject it. I'm not going to answer you 15 questions about my testimony. I'm not. Testimony is for me. Just like my vision and just like your vision is for you, that's for me. So the foundational piece is when we come down to religion, I believe it's about belief. And I'm not going to argue with you about my belief to get you to believe what I believe. I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to give you a scripture if necessary. I'm going to say to you, if you pull out the scripture, well, I'm not familiar with that, hey, whatever you believe about it, that's it. And then I'm going to move on. But this is just key. If the person is authentic and the person is genuine and they're trying to learn, they're trying to receive, I can stand there with them. But if they're trying to slap me, if they're trying to make me look stupid, if they're trying to make me feel a certain kind of way, we can go ahead and end this thing because I got better things to do, just like this show. I got people that are waiting for me to show up on a Nobody Asked Me show. So I ain't got time to be messing with you for an hour or two when people are waiting for me to show up in a way that they can receive. So that's how we get by that, and that's how I deal with that. Hope that answers the question from my brother.
Bro, hey, man, he's giving you about 5 or 6 hearts and thumbs up. Yeah, man, that's great. Listen, let's talk a little bit about your books here. I know that you have From Word to Winning, and then you have the 7 winning ways to your personal success, and the 7 winning ways. You want to share with us some about those books?
Yeah, I have a what I did was in writing the books, I looked back over my life, an area of my life, in my marriage. I looked at me being a father. I looked at me being an entrepreneur. I looked at me being a child of God. I looked at me being an ex-felon. I looked at me being a college student. I looked at me graduating. I looked at me being a world traveler. I looked at me training for different organizations. And for me, I pulled out the patterns that allowed me to move. Here we go. From worrying in my life, having anxiety about things, being upset about things, to get me from that place to how do I get on the winning side and to being the things that you so graciously read off about me at the beginning. So I wasn't always there. So what I believe is that success leaves clues, and that if I can do it, it's so cliche-ish, but it's true. If I can do it, a young man that comes from the lower socioeconomic part of the city, here we go, y'all. I'm from the hood. That's a fancy way to say that. Once you get a couple of degrees, you say that the lower socioeconomic part of the city. Now, I'm from the hood. How do I get from the hood to be speaking to the most brilliant, trained minds in the world at the Defense Logistic Agency, which is part of the Department of Defense? That's the DOD. How did I get there? How did I get from the hood to all the way to the Pentagon, to the epicenter of power and knowledge of intellect in the world? How did I get there? The 7 winning ways to your personal success. So I put those in the book so that an individual could be up in a particular place of their life. They could be stuck. They could be hurting. They could be ready to throw in the towel. It could be anywhere you are. You can pick up this book, and it's not fluff. That's not why it's not like this thick. It's like this thick. It's just content. And then at the end, it's a plan whereby if you walk through each chapter, if you answer the questions, then at the end, you'll have your own path for success. So that's where the concept developed. And then I fashioned it for the two audiences. The one audience is for the, I started with just high schoolers and college students, but then the research says, and the educators told me that in order for young people to get ready for a post-secondary education, meaning once they graduate from high school to be ready for college, then if you give them a goal, if you kind of get them focused in middle school, then they have a path. So then I start speaking and training and going to middle schools. So from middle school to high school and to college, that's the book, The 7 Winning Ways to Your College Success, from high school to college graduate. And then we have a different set of stories, a different set of experiences for our adults. And that's where we are with From Worry to Winning, The 7 Winning Ways to Your Personal Success. So within both of them are the core concepts, but they're written for the different audiences.
Hey, you're absolutely right, man. As an old educator, former high school principal, and dare I say, I've been very blessed to have worked with some of the best. Most people are familiar with Joe Clark and Lean on Me. I worked for Dr. George McKenna in Los Angeles. In the George McKenna story, Denzel played my boss. Denzel Washington played my boss. So, and I've been very blessed to have worked with students and teachers, and I've been at the helm to turn 3 schools around. So whoever the educator was that shared information with you was right on point, brother, right on point. Listen, I tell you, man, Darren is still sending up thumbs up and hearts, man. So you really reached this young brother from Ithaca, New York. So that's good, Darren.
Reach out to me, and I'll send him a copy of my book for free.
Well, Darren, he can hear you. He can hear you. So listen,
I can't see the comments and things. I don't know if I'm not set up right.
No, you can't. That's on because we're on some of them on Periscope, some on YouTube, some on Facebook, and stuff like that. So they're on different sites.
I got you. Okay.
Stay within 30, 45 minutes. And I do want to say this has been very enriching. It's been very informing, and you've done a fantastic job. And do you have any closing statements before you share with us and with our audience how they can contact you, how they can get those books, etc.? Do you have any closing remarks prior to doing that?
What I want to say is we're in perilous times. We're in challenging times, and we're times that no one expected us to be here unless you were a prophet, unless you were, because to see in the future, I had some feelings. So most people, all of a sudden, it hit us, bam, we don't know what to do. So it's uncertainty, it's the anxiety, and it's the worry. So how do you take that away? How do you take away the uncertainty? How do you take away the anxiety? How do you actually able to thrive now and be ready to come out of COVID in a position that's going to be better than when you came in? How are you going to do that? Here you go. You need to have a crystal clear vision of what your success is, but don't wait. Start now so you can be on the other side. Well, Mr. Bennett, I don't know how to do that. I've been working on it. I'm trying to find it. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you get that crystal clear vision. I'm going to help you start moving now, and I'm going to help you come out the other side on another level, which you thought you were never able to be that. How are we going to do that? If you reach out to me, I'm going to give you 20 minutes. I'm calling this the 20-minute chat. I'm going to give you at least 20 minutes with me, and we're going to focus on one thing. We're going to focus on what's going to be your next step, not in 3 months, not in 6 months, not now. What's going to be your next month step in the next week? Because if I can get you to take one step in the right direction in the next week, not in weeks, right? Then we can start moving there. So if you want to reach out to me once I give you this information, I spend 20 minutes, like I said, 20 minutes, which I'm calling 20-minute chats, and I walk with you. Here we go, man. Let me make sure we understand this. This is free. This gift, because I want to serve right now in this time, because that's part of what I'm supposed to do. So when I give you my contact information, if you want to spend some time with me, if you want to help fashion that next step, and if I can get you to take one step, I'm sure you'll take the next. Then we can move. And this is what I keep emphasizing every time I speak now, every time I'm talk to someone is, don't wait to say, hey, I'm gonna get ready and do this thing after COVID. You can thrive now. You can make your move now. You can start to get there now, so that when you come out, right, you'll be on the other side. So if you start here now, right, when COVID is over, then as you're elevating in COVID, you end up here. You with me? But if you wait till COVID over, then you're right here. Then you're only going to start to elevate. And now you're 6 months down the line, which can start right now. So right. I'm going to do that in a 2-minute chat when I give you the contact information. I don't know when you want me to give it to you. And we'll do that.
Just before you give us the contact information, there's a Ms. Chantel Overton from Overton Nation is asking, do you do online classes?
Wow, that's the question. And I got to be transparent. And this is good. And I want to serve. But I'm gonna tell you, and I'm answering the question. But I wasn't prepared for this part of COVID. I was mainly doing in-person trainings, in-person speaking, and somewhat half and half in-person coaching. So I did not have a lot of online classes or courses for people to engage in. Why am I saying this to you? Because I just want to be honest with you. I missed it a little bit. I should have been a little further ahead of the game in what I was doing, so I can be more prepared for this period now. And why am I saying that to everyone? Because we got to kind of look forward a little bit sometimes and look at some contingencies and have a contingency plan that'll take us forward. So I'm just being honest with you. I wasn't ready. I knew I should have been online. I had a few courses there. I should have had some things lined up, but I didn't. So I'm getting those things together, and we're doing that. One of the things I'm doing for I got a lot of my Facebook live followers on there. This is for her on Thursdays. I've already started to do what I call Think It Through Thursdays. And what I do on 12 o'clock on Thursday, every Thursday at 12 o'clock, I come on Facebook Live and I talk about a couple of issues that will help us get through COVID. But this is the key. I don't have to be the smartest person in the room. So what I do is I ask the listeners and I ask the audience to add comments in so that we can all be better on the best practices of how do we deal with COVID, how do we get through COVID, how do we deal with being at home right now, and then we can move forward. Can I talk about what I talked about yesterday? You got a couple minutes?
Listen, brother, you're doing great. I just don't want to overkeep you, brother. So go right ahead.
All right. Let me tell you what I talked about yesterday. And I got a couple of my Facebook Live friends there. What we talked about yesterday is 3 things that we need to do to reset right now while we're in COVID. One of the things we need to do while we reset is we need to work on our own personal development. And I gave an example that when my wife and I looked at the time that we have now, that we don't have to travel so much and even not, leave the home to go to church services. I don't have that many engagements. We're probably picking up at least 15 hours a week, maybe more. So what are you going to do with that extra time that you have while you're in COVID, while you're at home? Well, that's a great time for what? For your personal development. That's one of the things that we can work on while we're there with this extra time. So use it to get better so we can come out on the other end on another level. The other part is, what's your worldview? Even though you're going through some struggles, even though you're going through some challenges, even though you're going through some things that affect you and your family, are you just looking out for you? Or here you go, are you trying to reach out to your community and be connected and see how we all can get through this thing together. And one of the illustrations I gave was, I've been around the world, and even, oh, look, this is great. This painting here is from Cuba. And if you look at it close, you can see Cuba in one of the maracas. Okay. And what I noticed in a place like Cuba is a totalitarian government. The people that's within a community, they work together. They barter. Where the person is strong, they help the person that's weak. Where the person is weak, they get the help from the person that's strong. If I have this information, I have this thing to help you. They work together, and they're always doing that. But sometimes in America, because we're taught to be so egocentric or individualized, we don't reach out and have a world view that keeps us connected. So I'm saying right now, while we're here, while we're doing this reset, then it's a great time to work on our personal development. It's a great time to work on our connectiveness as individuals. And it's also a great time to really work on our bodies. Okay, let's drink plenty of water. One of the things they say about COVID, if it get caught in your throat, right, it'll stay in this area and it'll affect your lungs. But if you drink water every 15 minutes, even if you had a virus, it'll push you down. Let's work on our bodies. Let's drink some water. Let's get out and walk a little bit. Cuomo from New York, his brother has COVID, and he's saying the way that he's making it through, so that they get the mucus out of his lungs, you got to move, you got to walk, you got to get those things. So as we doing these during this time, why can't we reset things? Why can't we reset how we take care of our body? Why can't we reset how we connect with each other? Why can't we reset on us getting better? And that's the thing that I've been working on last Thursday.
I wasn't giving you a sign to stop. Chantel Overton was saying that she really liked the show and it's really great information. And she was also sharing me now. We have Dr. Casey. Well, first of all, let me give you a little information on Chantel.
Okay.
Chantel comes from a very interesting family. The Overtons. If you get an opportunity, look up Black Wall Street, those historical situations. Her cousin Anthony played a vital role in that. Her family was also friends with Annie Malone. All the talk now about Annie Malone and Madam C.J. Walker. Yeah. And they have a Overton Nation, and she's very instrumental. And she was sharing with me about Dr. Casey, who's coming on at 8 o'clock, live on Facebook tonight. And she was just discussing that they were talking about that same thing, about using the time while you're in with COVID, that kind of thing. So in essence, she just giving you a thumbs up for being on top of it. So, but I just needed to share that with you. I know I referred to her several times, and then I did not share with you who she was. So please accept my apology. So listen, if you give us some contact information, we certainly appreciate it. And then I will share with my new guest how they can contact me, and we'll call it a night.
Okay. All right. I'm on all the social media platforms, and I'm on the platforms using my name. I just use my name on every platform. So if you're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, just put my name in there. I'll pop up. Dwayne A. Bennett. So if you want to find me, that's the easiest way to find me on social media. Now, for those who want to take advantage of the 20-minute chat, I'm going to give you my email address, and you can email me there. And then that way we can connect directly, and I can answer some more of your questions, and we can work through some things. So the major two ways is social media by my name, Dwayne, Dwayne, Bennett, Bennett. That's across social media. And then for my email address, it's Dwayne Bennett Helps @gmail.com. Use my name for everything, right? So it's Dwayne Bennett Helps, HELPS, all one word, @gmail.com. You can get to me directly, because even, with the social media, it's, you have your inboxes, those things to be able to contact. So if you want to contact me, I'll be there, and I'll be ready to help you as much as I can.
Brother Dwayne, I was typing that in over here. Dwayne Bennett Helps @gmail.com. Now, listen, let me ask for them, because several people, as I said, I don't know why they're so bashful. but they want to know how they could get your books.
Okay. Well, you can get them from me directly.
Okay.
So when you email me, I'll send you a link. And we just take care of payment that through that, and I'll send you a copy of the book. $15 on that. That covers everything. And then I'm also on Amazon.com. Now, I'm taking back part of my brand. So I prefer if you contact me to purchase as opposed to Amazon. But if you only remember Amazon, that's fine, because I don't want to get too deep in it, but they go through a whole lot of stuff in terms of you shaking your head. You know what I'm talking about, bro.
Well, yeah, and that's why I'm shaking my head. And I'm just going to piggyback on what you're saying to our audience. The same difference. Yeah, take back your brand and do your thing and let them come through you, brother. That's what I recommend.
Yeah. So
listen, Brother Dwayne.
Because people don't think you're legit unless you're on Amazon. Well, I'm on Amazon, so you just go there and see I'm legit, right? But then you contact me.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm happy you said that, because as we close this show, we really need to educate our audience. Being on Amazon and all of that does not make you any more legit than it does selling it from the trunk of your car.
Yes,
all
sir.
that means is that you have a broader audience.
Yes.
And I know that Brother Dwayne, but a lot of our audience may not be aware of that. It's simply exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And when you use those outlets, then they take most of your profits and that kind of thing. So
Yes,
again, you are profiting for the Amazons and people like that. So I just want our audience to know, and I want to encourage them to go directly to Dwayne A. Bennett and use an email down there and buy those books, excuse me, directly.
Yes,
now,
sir.
So with that, all of that stated, we again want to welcome our guest, and we thank our new guest, and we also love our returning guest. I am your host, Melvin Lars, the Nobody Asked Me guy, and you can contact me at www.dyingonmyfeet.com. You can contact me via telephone. My office phone is 440-935-0374. Our email address is the Nobody Asked Me Guy Show at gmail.com. So we want to encourage each and every one of you to do that. Now, also, guys, I'm an author as well. It's Mother's Day coming up really quickly. My latest book, Mothers in Their Smen, an introspective look at mothers rearing their sons. Now, as I said, I'm going to piggyback off Brother Dwayne. It's much easier and much better to get them from me, or you can go through Barnes and Noble. So with that, guys, we want to bid you good night. Unless, Brother Dwayne, if you have one parting statement you'd like to make, feel free. If not, we're going to bid our audience good night. It's been great having Brother Dwayne here. It's been great having all of you here. And we thank you and come return again. And we do want to remind each and every one of you that this show goes into syndication within 24 hours. So please go to our YouTube site and please become a subscriber to the Nobody Asked Me Guy Show. Or you can just look for my name, Melvin Lars, and become a subscriber. With that, we want to bid each and every one of you a good night. Brother Bennett, we will definitely be staying in touch with one another and hopefully working on some projects together.
Yes, let's do it.
Yes. So have a great night. And we're so grateful for each and everyone being here. And happy Easter to everyone. And have a blessed and great weekend.
All right. Good night.